Tannehill, the Titans quarterback, and his truth when it comes to this NFL draft and his Titans wide receiver room that he's going to be working with. And based off of the conversation from yesterday that you and Sam had, high percentage chances for the people think that Ryan Tannehill will be the Titans starting quarterback in week 1. So we're going to react to more of what Tannehill said this past week in the press conference about the wide receivers, about what they did not do in last week's NFL draft, and really what the Titans likely need to do over the summer as they approach September when the season begins. And then Will Levis has a decision to make as he starts his Titans career, and Titans rookie minicamp will be in Nashville at St. Thomas Sports Park next weekend. And it is Friday, which means ain't that good news. So we'll share our good news to wrap up our week. Zach, welcome in. Let's get this show rolling.
Yeah, a lot to get to on this Friday before the weekend. We welcome everybody in that enjoys the show and gets ready for Friday, Saturday, Sunday, maybe a relaxing weekend, maybe a busy weekend. We know we've got Titans rookie minicamp on the horizon, and then OTAs and all that fun stuff before we get into the middle of summer. But we do have a lot to talk about based on what was discussed this week in the Titans facility with the players and the decisions that were made in the NFL draft. So we are broadcasting live on 3 different platforms, including Facebook, YouTube, and Twitch. We'll tweet out link by link, segment by segment, those links on our Twitter at A to Z Sports. Give us a follow there and subscribe to our YouTube channel. If you have not already, make sure you hit that subscribe button. We're trying to get to 15,000. How we get there is you guys subscribe and also like the video. So if you've already subscribed, a lot more people, as we've kind of, you look at the difference between Facebook, the real OG since day one, and since we transitioned a portion of this to YouTube, a lot more people are going to YouTube, which is great. And we want people to subscribe to our channel because we have a lot more going on just besides this morning live stream. We've got coverage when it comes to the locker room, to press conferences, prime time, podcasts. So lock in and subscribe. And if you've already subscribed to our YouTube channel, hit the like on this video. We're also on Twitch. And as I mentioned, on Facebook, bottom left corner of your screen, share not a public. Sharing is caring, and caring is sharing on this show. As we say, more people are going to be piling in over the next 5 to 10 minutes. So share the show around on Facebook. I've already shared the show around on my timeline. You need to share the show on your timeline to create the biggest, best community on the internet that we can when we talk about the Titans each and every morning and each and every night. So let's get this party started on a Friday.
Yep, let's do it officially. Welcome into A to Z Sports, powered as always by the BetMGM app. I'm Austin Stanley. He's Zach Bingham. Make sure you follow us all over social media as we are Nashville's on-demand sports talk network, going live weekday mornings at 8 Central Time on Facebook, YouTube, and Twitch. Links to the show segment by segment on our Twitter timeline at A to Z Sports. And make sure you follow us on Instagram and TikTok for more Titans coverage. Gotta thank our sponsors because they make everything happen for us, and they help out with you guys. Wilson County Hyundai. Make them a part of your new car buying process by going to see them in Lebanon or at wilsoncountyhyundai.com. The Bone and Joint Institute, boneandjointtn.org, the region's destination for comprehensive orthopedic and sports medicine care. Farm Bureau Health Plans get better. Farm Bureau Health Plans, coverage, rates, and service, fbhp.com/ATOZ. The Aura app, download the Aura app and use our link, aura.com/ATOZ, to stay safe online. If you use that link, aura.com/ATOZ, they'll give you a 2-week free trial to save your life from data brokers and Krebs Kubota, an elite Kubota dealer located in Columbia, Franklin, and Murfreesboro. Visit them for all your equipment needs at KrebsKubota.com. So Zach, you guys had a great conversation, Sam and you did, yesterday about Ryan Tannehill's comments overall about his future with the Titans and his conversation with Rand Carthon. And I do feel confident that Ryan Tannehill will be the Titans starting quarterback in September.
What's your percentage?
Well, what was your percentage?
I'm not going to tell you that. You had to watch the show to tell you that.
I watched a lot of the show until
you know
until Buck Rising.
I'll tell you after I know yours.
All right, until Buck Rising called me and said that he had the documents of Taylor Lewan's lawsuit for his ACL surgery that we were able to break while you guys were doing the show. I was watching. I think I'm at like I remember your percentage. I think I'm at like 89%. I think 89%. I feel pretty strong about that. I think there needs to be some injury leeway in that percentage of not being the Titan starting quarterback. But I do think that the post June 1st saving of $27 million of cash is always interesting, because that's just a lot of money to not have to pay somebody that you don't think is about your long-term future.
Well, I think I bring this up because the tune has changed. Mine was 99%, and the 1% was the injury. But you weren't saying this for weeks on end. You felt like if they drafted Will Levis or Anthony Richardson, that they should start them.
No. I said if they traded up to 3 for a
No, you said if they drafted them. You got to go back and listen to what you talk about. Because you said that on multiple occasions that is if they draft that quarterback that
it had everything to do with trading up for those assets.
I'm not going to get into this. I can't listen to the BS.
I was a good backpedaler in my day on the football field.
Yeah, well, you're Dion right now.
I had fluid hips. I could get out of that break and go run deep with the best of them.
Thank you, Xavier. Thank you, Andre. The chat. Look, you got receipts, so I'm not going to get into
says,
it.
No, they're on my side. Stick it to them, Austin. Let's start. Like I did say
no, they're not. You said that, Austin.
Zach, you were wrong.
You said that they needed to cut Ryan Tannehill and start their new quarterback if they drafted him. Because we talked about multiple scenarios, Zach, whether it was at 3 or at 11.
Yeah, again, I don't want to get derailed. All right, it's less than. Okay, I said if they trade up,
I adamantly disagreed with it.
Thank you, Bork. Austin did give the trade up stipulation about cutting Tannehill. Okay, let's get on with our originally planned show. I remember Sam's was a Danico Autry percentage of that. So now Ryan Tannehill has wide receivers in the room, and he was asked about not drafting a wide receiver until the 7th round. And I am fascinated to see what Colton Dowell looks like, because there's going to be a lot of pressure on the 228th overall pick in the draft from UT Martin, Colton Dowell being the lone draft pick at his position in this 6-person class. And Tannehill was asked about the Titans not going wide receiver until the very last round, the last opportunity the Titans had to draft a wide receiver.
Did you expect or think a wide receiver might get picked before 228?
I'm sorry.
Did you think or expect a wide receiver might get drafted by this team before number 228?
They don't ask me, my thoughts on draft picks. Mike and Rand make those decisions. Obviously, I knew it was an area that could be addressed, but they did just a little bit probably later than I thought it was going to. But we added some other key positions, some talent that will help us across the board.
And they did add talent across the board. They gave Ryan Tannehill help in Peter Skoronski at 11 overall, and Tyjae Spears, who is an interesting prospect that we'll talk more about next week and dive into his medical situation a little bit deeper with experts that we have from the Bone and Joint Institute. So more on that later on. And they added a tight end who can be a versatile piece to go along with what they have. But we all agree that not getting a wide receiver until the 7th round felt like a somewhat of a disrespect to Ryan Tannehill. So Zach, he obviously, I bet Ryan Tannehill watching that draft thinking, oh, they passed on a wide out in the 3rd after they drafted Will Levis the hour before. Yeah,
let's concentrate on that, right? The cold hard truth is they drafted his replacement instead of giving him help. It was that's his feeling. That smirk after I think it was Joe Rexroad or whoever asked that question.
Glennon, I believe. Yeah.
Glennon. After Glennon asked the question, look at the smirk, because the smirk tells me that, they didn't draft a wide receiver. They drafted the guy who's going to take my job. Now, look, he knew he was under contract. That probably was discussed in February of you're under contract for a year. You can read the tea leaves. He's going to have to play out of his mind to stay a Tennessee Titan. I don't think that it is completely out of the realm of possibility. I think it is more slim and none than, going to happen. But they valued Will Levis over giving him help because, as we all know, we talk about that 3rd round. The 3rd round is the key to the draft of any wide receiver to this team, and they didn't have the ability to do it because the three premier wide receivers were taken before they were able to pick. And then you had Tank going to Houston, who actually, did you read this? That CJ Stroud influenced the Texans to take Tank Dell. And that's the guy who I thought would fit perfectly with the Titans. I think he's going to be really good.
Man.
But they missed on all of them. And so that's
what,
where Ryan Tannehill resides now, is they picked his replacement instead of picking, a player to help him. So maybe they just delayed him being sacked instead of actually being sacked before he throws to a non-legitimate wide receiver like last year.
All right, we got more Tannehill to play comments, I'm sure, and I have an opinion off of that Houston nugget that you just dropped here in a second. But we'll get back to Ryan Tannehill's comments on who's going to have to step up, and really more of his thoughts about the Titans wide receiver room, or lack of the options at wide receiver. But Zach, first tell us about Wilson County Hyundai.
Yeah, Wilson County Hyundai is where you need to go to get your next ride. Your next ride is right down the street, and that is at wilsoncountyhyundai.com. The Palisade, the Tucson, the Santa Fe, that's a smaller SUV. The full-size SUV is the Palisade. Also, four-door sedan like the Sonata and the Elantra and the Ioniq, which is battery-powered. If you're in the market for a brand new car, make sure that you go to Wilson County Hyundai or wilsoncountyhyundai.com.
Also, don't forget with BetMGM, it's Friday, which is a great feeling, and No Run First Inning Friday is an opportunity for you each Friday with BetMGM to opt into that feature and go place a $25 prop bet on any MLB game to have no runs scored in the first inning and get up to $25 back if only one run is scored in that first inning. So, Zach, I do find it interesting that you mentioned that CJ Stroud, who the Texans, in your opinion, boxed out the Titans. They didn't love him, but they liked him enough to box out the Titans and take him number 2. Then they flew him to Houston, and then they put him in the draft room on Friday night and said, yeah, take Tank Dell in the 3rd round. So CJ Stroud was that influential out of the gates.
They did box him out. That's what I said on Monday. They boxed him out.
But
He's
it was
starting to come around.
The Titans liking CJ Stroud was just as influential as the Texans. Oh, man. Anyway, but Ryan Tannehill was very honest on his press conference on Wednesday about not taking a wide receiver into the 7th round. And then he was asked about guys that have to step up.
Some of those guys are going to have to step up, though, and play much bigger roles than they did a year ago.
Yeah, no question. I mean, you look who we got in the room, and that's who it is. So I'm going to have to go out, compete each and every day, and we'll see, who ends up getting the majority of the time. But definitely, guys are going to have to step up just like they are in every position across the board.
He laughed a couple times during that press conference because I feel like Ryan Tannehill's sitting here going like, well, I had this conversation with Rand, and I've got $27 million that I could get this season in my bank account, but also they can cut me after June 1st, and I don't know where I'm going to go. And then the offensive line looks a lot better, but I don't know who I'm going to throw to. I got Traylon Burks, who showed some flashes. Kyle Phillips couldn't stay healthy. I like Chig a lot, but there's not a ton of people for me to excel at. And Ryan Tannehill's in an interesting situation in his career because, yes, this is most likely the last year with him as a Titan, and then he is still young enough to go earn extra money beyond this season in his NFL career to try to have a 3rd leg of his NFL career. But as of right now, I don't necessarily think he has the best opportunity and the best chances to truly thrive in extending his NFL starting quarterback career.
I disagree with that.
Beyond this year.
I disagree with that. There's always a quarterback needy team. It's the NFL. It's not for long. It's 32 teams. If Ryan Fitzpatrick can make it, then he can make it. He's taken teams and he's done more than Ryan Fitzpatrick has ever done. And Ryan Fitzpatrick found job after job after job. So I adamantly disagree with Ryan Tannehill that this could be his kind of final act, that he won't get the opportunity in the future. I think that he will, because there will always be a team that is not sold on a young quarterback.
But what is that opportunity?
Falcons next year, once they find out if Desmond Ridder can't cut the mustard.
Yeah, but what is that opportunity, and how much money is that next opportunity going to get it?
But it's opportunity. You didn't say money. You said opportunity. And so that's why I say Ryan Tannehill will find it. It may not be this year because, if they cut him after June 1st, first of all, I got a problem with that. Second of all, it will be a little bit tough to find a team because all of the other teams have drafted. But if you're talking about the next 2 to 3 years, I think he'll be fine. I think the problem is you go back to who's buying the groceries and who's cooking the meal. And that's just how business works. It doesn't matter if it's football or if it's just regular business. You have an owner of a company and they have people, the employees and managers that actually manage the other employees that make the wheel turn. Ryan Tannehill is a very highly paid employee, but he does not get to go to the grocery store. And he doesn't have influence in who they pick. And it is laughable. Look, like let's listen to that laugh a little bit.
Some of those guys are going to have to step up, though, and play much bigger roles than they did a year ago.
Yeah, no question. I mean,
Are you kidding me? Look at the room. That's exactly how every Titans fan feels. So Ryan Tannehill was open and honest when he stepped to the podium on a lot of different fronts this week. But this is a big deal because we've seen Ryan Tannehill not have options. And here's the problem. This is not 2 to 3 years ago not having options. This is you've got a better division with better teams and better quarterbacks that are probably going to score a lot better than Davis Mills did, right? A lot better than Matt Ryan was able to. You're just going to have better competition. And the AFC as a whole is a lot better. And you look around, and I'm not saying anything that's not true, but this has been the case for now multiple years. The Tennessee Titans have the worst wide receiver room, and you may say in the history of the NFL.
Well, so Sam did some research, and this was after the biggest wave of free agency. So this was actually, this was a couple weeks into April. That the Tennessee Titans and the Green Bay Packers at that time were the only active franchises that did not have a player under contract with at least a 500-yard receiving season. And the Titans then signed Chris Moore in mid-April that checked that box, right? That incredibly low box to check of having a single person with a 500-yard receiving season. And the Packers actually had a tight end to do that, but the Titans didn't have anybody to do that, tight end or wide receiver. And I mentioned this the other day that Mike Vrabel has more career receiving touchdowns than anybody that's currently under contract with the Tennessee Titans. And so,
Chig is not in the wide receiver room, right? Like we got to remember that.
Yes, for sure. And, there's a lot that goes into this and a lot that is going to have to go into that. So we're going to talk about more of this here in a second, ask you guys a question. Andre comes in here with some Sam lunch money and says, Tannehill knows he's the crash dummy to play with 0 wide receivers and an unknown O-line to save the rookie from being David Carr 2.0. He's auditioning for teams. I kind of agree with Andre in the Ryan Tannehill is auditioning for his third act of his career. And I don't think that audition is going to be set up to be the smoothest on stage play, right? Like there's going to be a lot of things that Ryan Tannehill is going to have to do on his own. Like Ryan Tannehill is going to have to go raise the curtain for the play and then come out there and do the acting themselves. I just think it's going to be very difficult with how the Titans set him up and what they currently have. Now, there is still opportunity for them to go add somebody, and that's what I want to ask you guys now. Will the Titans add another proven receiver before the season begins? Will the Tennessee Titans add another proven veteran receiver before the season begins? We'll get to your comments here shortly, but first I'm going to tell you guys about the Bone and Joint Institute, boneandjointtn.org, the region's destination for comprehensive orthopedic and sports medicine care. Coming up next week on Wednesday, that's Wednesday at 12:30 Central. We're going to have a Dog Talk segment about Tyjae Spears and his knee situation. So that's going to be very interesting to do some more research and to learn more about how a running back can have arthritis in his knee, have cartilage damage, and reportedly no ACL, and be able to do what he did at Tulane. So that's going to be a fun conversation to learn more about Tyjae Spears. Dog Talk on Wednesday next week. So get that set in your calendars at 12:30 with the great experts at the Bone and Joint Institute in Franklin, boneandjointtn.org.
That's going to be a good doc talk because
Oh, yeah.
that you get educated on why. How did Tajay Spears pass the test? You know,
Yep.
like how is he that high on the board with all of these injuries? So lock in there. That's the best part of many of why we have that relationship with Bone and Joint Institute, along with what they can do for you. And what they can do for you is what BetMGM can also do for you. Benefit. You can win some money. Now, last night I did not win money. Probably bet more with my heart at +6.5. And then I put +12.5 when the Lakers got down. And then they got down by 28 points. And I stopped watching midway through the fourth quarter once the starters were pulled. But it's a day. Look, I was on a hot streak. I talk about when I win, and I have won before. Last night was not a winning night. It was a losing night, but that's okay because you got 2 games tonight. You got 2 games on Saturday. This is basketball weekend, baby. I'm pumped. I love this. I got Saturday cleared out so I can watch NBA action and bet on it with BetMGM. Download the app today in your Apple or Android app store.
All right. Will the Titans add a proven veteran receiver before the season? I think the key in this is proven veteran. Will they add a proven veteran? I'm going to the chat on this. Jacoby just says yes. Matt says yes. John says yes, but nothing splashy. Pistol Ramsey says yes. John says no. They proved that by taking a backup running back with bad knees. Billy Jones says yes by trade or cuts. Andre says proven maybe, effective no. Kenneth says they will pick up someone that gets released. Does that count? I mean, yeah. I mean, but the key word in the question is proven veteran. Ramon says yes, but not an elite receiver. Jason just says they better. Trilogy on YouTube just says nope. Alan says the real answer is you can only hope. Big G says no. Rusty says go grab Javonte Payton after the XFL ends, which would fall under the answer of no because Javonte Payton is not a proven veteran. Trey says give the Niners a first-round pick and swap picks in the second for Brandon Ayuk. Who says no? I think that's a bigger conversation for maybe its own show or a bigger topic here.
But the problem, let's stop there real quick,
Okay.
and because it is probably a bigger topic for a different show, but the Titans don't have a lot of future draft assets in 2024. So, like Tress, ideally, I understand what you're saying, but how many draft picks then would they have next year? Like 4?
So they've got a first, a second, a fourth, a sixth, and 2 sevenths. So I want to say they have 6. They don't have a fifth and they don't have a third. I know that. And I know they have 2 sevenths.
So then now you only have a second? You draft one guy until the 6th round?
I mean, the
Or
Browns
5th round, I guess?
Yeah. The
You
Browns.
can't, and that's why I say you
No,
cannot do that.
Right. The Browns did it. The Rams this past year, their first pick was a 3rd rounder. Then, we know what the Rams have done over their course of.
They also have a Super Bowl, right? So, like,
Yeah.
Some of that's justified. How much, if they would have lost to Joe Burrow and the Bengals that day because Aaron Donald didn't do what he did, then who knows how we actually feel about the Rams? Because they're in a state of disarray. I don't think they're in on Matthew Stafford. They're just paying Aaron Donald to pay him. They traded away Jalen Ramsey. Allen Robinson's no longer on the team. They still have Cooper Kupp. Their running back situation has changed because of Cam Akers' injuries. So, like, they're a shell of what that team represents. Yeah, it was justified because they won a Super Bowl, but winning a Super Bowl is tough. It's 1 out of 32. So
Yeah.
I am apprehensive about that because of the Titans situation next year as far as their draft picks.
All right. So they have no 6th. So let me just go through this. Here are the Titans draft picks for 2024. A first, a second, a 4th, and 2 sevenths. So they don't have a 5th because of Daly. They don't have a 6th because they lost that one, I believe, in a pick swap with Ugo Amadi, where they have the 2nd, 7th because of that. So
I'm going to Randy Jackson this. That's a no from me, dog, because you don't have enough picks. Sorry.
For sure. All right, Zach. So your answer on the question, will the Titans add another proven veteran wide receiver before the season starts? What's your answer?
I have to go with logic, and I have to say yes. I may be dead ass wrong, but there's no way that they can go into this season seriously thinking that they're going to compete with Traylon Burks, Kyle Phillips, and NWI as your top 3 wide receivers. I'm not going to put in Chris Moore. We don't know what the hell he's doing. If you're bouncing around, there's a reason why you're bouncing around. Kyle Phillips has to stay healthy. Traylon Burks has to stay healthy. And NWI has a ceiling that we've realized. It's not that high. They let NWI test the market, and he came back. They wanted to get rid of the guy, and we ran back.
Well, they're okay with him, leaving, right? Which is
it's
wild.
the stray cat that you just let go outside. You can run around. You could leave if you wanted to, and the stray cat came back. Like that. The ceiling is NWI is a solid 4th wide receiver, but he's not going to be asked to do that because, guys, injuries occur. Somebody's going to get hurt. Traylon Burks and Kyle Phillips, the odds that they play all 17 games are very slim. So if any of those 2 miss an amount of time, what are you dealing with?
Yeah, well, and Kyle Phillips missed a lot of games because of his injuries that were like Kyle Phillips' injuries last season and Traylon Burks' injuries last season are in completely different buckets, in my opinion. I think Kyle Phillips, his injuries were injury-prone, durability, question mark type injuries with a shoulder that got banged up and with a soft tissue hamstring, right? Those things linger, and those things are because the guy weighs 180 pounds and is a slot guy. That's something you have to be concerned about. Traylon Burks having turf toe and getting a concussion while catching a touchdown in Philly are not injury-prone injuries, right? Yeah. But so with Phillips, you have no idea what to expect. He's kind of like coming off of a redshirt year. And with Burks is, you got a lot of that stolen, but you saw flashes there during the middle of the season after the turf toe when he returned. And I think that's something the Titans have to really see blossom.
Well, and then just what we just talked about, you don't have a lot of draft assets next year to go and trade for Brandon Ayuk. You don't have a lot. So I say yes, and I'm apprehensive to say yes, but I just don't think that they can confidently go into this season with the wide receiver room that they currently have. I think it's unfair to Derrick Henry. I think it's unfair to Ryan Tannehill, but I don't know what they're going to do. So why do I say yes?
Yeah.
I think you're praying for a roster cut and a cap casualty after June 1st from a team. I think it's a Hail Mary. I think maybe you can target some guys, but you're late to the game. I made this analogy in our pre-show conversation. Everybody's been asked to the dance. You've been in high school and you go to prom or you go to homecoming and you look around and the pretty girls, the popular girls, all those girls have already been asked. You're sitting around and you don't have your pick of the litter. You're down to 3 or 4. And I don't even know if that. So what are you're praying on a cancellation. You're praying that Jake and Sarah break up right before prom. You're praying that Jake gets sick and Sarah needs a date. But that's not a great situation to be in if you're actually trying to compete in the NFL. Who's it gonna be? Is there a Keenan Allen? Is there because you're gonna have to trade for the other guys, DeAndre Hopkins and Mike Evans, who I don't think that the Bucs are gonna trade Mike Evans. I'll be honest, but DeAndre Hopkins is on the trade block. You don't have the assets to give him up.
Yeah, well, and Jake just said, why does he have to be the one to get sick?
Jake and Sarah have been going steady for months now, but all of a sudden, rocky roads. Jake's been liking Instagram models, and Sarah got pissed. They broke up. That's what you're basing your entire season on, Jake liking Instagram models? That's not a good recipe.
All right, so we're going through the question and reading all of your comments. Will the Titans add another proven veteran receiver before the season? Zach says yes. I'll tell you my answer here in a second, but first, going to tell you guys about Aura. Aura is great. I signed up 2 weeks ago, and I've already got 29 of 30 data brokers who have been stripped of my information because that's what Aura does. They keep you safe online, and they also help your life become less of a nuisance because you have data brokers selling your information to robocallers and telemarketers and spammers and anyone else that wants to know anything about you. Our sponsor, Aura, identifies those data brokers, 30 in my case, and removes and opts you out of those situations. 29 of those 30 have had my information stripped from them. That also opts you out of junk mail and telemarketing lists, or has almost every internet safety tool you'll ever need inside of one app, including VPN, password manager, real-time credit and identity theft monitoring as well. Let Aura do the hard work for you by keeping you safe online by going to our link, aura.com/ATOZ. You get a 2-week free trial with Aura. And so in less than 2 weeks, they've had my data brokers really taken to them, right? So aura.com/ATOZ to help you out for a 2-week free trial. Click that link. I just posted in the chat, aura.com/ATOZ.
A to Z Sports, we're powered by BetMGM. Download the app today. Use the bonus code ATOZ Sports. And the best part is you get up to $1,000 back in bonus bets if your first bet misses for new users. So if you're a new user, you've never downloaded the app, download it today and enter that bonus code ATOZ Sports. And you can get that bonus bet up to $1,000 if your first bet misses. Download the app right now. Well, after the show, but today.
All right, so asking the question, will the Titans add another proven veteran receiver before the season? Zach, you say yes. I'll tell you my answer here in a second, but here was Mike Vrabel Friday night during their post-second and third round draft press conference, asked about the receiver position they did not take in the top 3 rounds.
You mentioned adding speed frequently. When you look at this wide receiver group and some of the options available to you, what's behind not picking a receiver to this point?
What's behind it? I mean, just the same thing that Rand discussed, is taking a look at our board and seeing where things are. We know we have needs. We come into each phase of player acquisition with needs, and it's certainly something that we're going to continue to target. And again, what the roster looks like today and what it's going to look like at the first part of September is probably a little different.
What could you reason?
That's Mike Vrabel, right? That's after they made 3 picks in the draft, no wide receivers. Then they had 3 more picks the next day, and they waited until the 3rd to take a receiver because they wanted to play their board. They knew their needs, but they were playing their board and making sure they got players to help them. So will they add another proven receiver before the season? I say no, because one, I don't know if they have the opportunity to do that. Like who? Like I get you're talking about who gets canceled on, Keenan Allen. I just don't think the Titans are the type of team that's jumping and that will actually follow through with jumping at the opportunity to sign a guy that gets cut like Keenan Allen.
Doesn't that make sense though for them?
Yes, but I don't like what's their history is that they usually don't do that. Like after
there's a new man in charge though. That I think that's why you have to trust some of the process.
Yes, but there's a new man in charge who didn't take the second biggest need on the team until the 7th round.
Because we know why though.
Because they didn't, right? But it's priorities, right? It's you have to rank your team needs, have a more urgent priority. And the Titans didn't do that.
We know what they prioritized though, right? We don't. You could disagree with it. I think that's fair. But they prioritized their future quarterback, a more important position overall in Rand's career for the general manager of the Tennessee Titans than a reach of a wide receiver that we know that the best wide receivers at that juncture in the draft were off the board when the Titans selected. It would be stupid, and especially to where the wide receivers fell when they picked in the 80s instead of the 70s, it justifies it even more. You do roll the dice and you play the game of the draft. You have no idea who's going to be available when you pick. That's kind of the fun of the draft. I'm kind of hedging to what Vrabel says. He's kind of telling us that it's going to be different, right?
Well, what they're going to do, Zach, look, they're going to add receivers. There will be a lot more receivers that come into that room and probably cycle out of that room before the season begins in, September, 13th, that second Sunday in September after Labor Day weekend. But proven veteran? No, I don't think so, because I don't think the Titans also have the money to compete for that proven veteran who gets canceled on, right? If Keenan Allen gets cut by the Chargers. Like, do the Titans have the financial ability to compete for his services? They got $10 million in cap space right now. That doesn't count the $4+ million it costs to sign their draft picks. That doesn't cost what T.R. Tart costs when he signs his restricted free agent tender of $4 million. So they're not going to have a lot of money to make a move. And so if they want to make a move, they're going to have to do something else on their roster contractually to create space that might put them in a tough situation. Why was Kevin Byard asked to take a pay cut this year? Not because Kevin Byard's played meaned it, because Kevin Byard has restructured his contract 2 times before. One of them was to go get Julio Jones. Why is Ryan Tannehill's cap hit $36 million? Because he took a contract restructure to create space for Julio as well. So that creates bad situations. And so if they're going to get a receiver like this, a proven veteran that's worth it, they're going to have to do something else on their roster that's going to create a problem later on for what? For a guy that's going to be, we have no idea how the level of success this person might have.
Here's the difference. They're also looking to what next year is going to represent. Derrick Henry and Ryan Tannehill are probably not going to be on the roster. That is a massive amount of money that will come back on the books. You could play it if you really wanted to. You could play it like the Saints usually play it and just go over the cap for a year and then get all of your money back. I don't know if Amy Adams Strunk is willing to do that. They will, and I agree with you in the sense that they will have to probably maneuver around this if they want to go get a top name wide receiver. But they're going to get all that money back from their quarterback and their running back position that are vastly overpaid.
But here's the thing. Who are the players that would be in play to make this happen? Which guys under contract right now have a contract that can be reworked to create enough space for a proven veteran receiver? Are you going to do it with Tannehill? Because that means extending him, right? I doubt that. Are you going to do it with Derrick Henry? I mean, maybe, but that's, half the money.
I don't think they'll touch Henry. I think Henry is one of those commodities that you probably are, because they're just not going to, I don't think they're going to re-sign him next year. They're just going to let him go into free agency because of the position he plays. So where are your other big contracts?
Right.
Your other big contract is Harold Landry.
Yeah. And guess what? And everybody's bringing up Harold Landry. Marvin says Harold Landry is to answer your question, Austin. Okay. That yes, contractually that makes sense. But when you're restructuring a contract, what are you doing? You're giving a player money in their pocket now by converting that salary to a signing bonus that you paid them now to create that space. So that means that you're going to give Harold Landry, who you just gave a big signing bonus to a year ago, and then he tore his ACL. You're going to give Harold Landry off of a torn ACL millions more dollars now before he even played a game after the ACL and before he played a game after the initial contract extension and signing bonus. So that's just giving Harold Landry a bunch of freaking money, but that he hasn't played for yet. That's where I think there's a gamble with the Harold Landry conversation, because yes, his contract, he's got $18.8 million. You can move that around, but that's gambling and paying Harold.
You're just trying to bridge a gap though. The money's going to go. If you really are serious about signing a wide receiver, the money is going to go. So you know that your high-paid quarterback is not going to be on the roster next year. You know that your high-paid running back, that's almost $50 million for 2 guys. And now you're going to restart with a younger quarterback in Will Levis or Malik Willis. I'll just throw that out there. I think it's probably Will Levis. But that's you've got to look at the long-term play. And I think you're talking about the short term of this year, which I get. But I think that the Titans, you've got to look at it in a different way, especially. And what does this accomplish, Austin? It accomplishes 2 things. You get the money back next year, but more importantly, you get to compete this year. And that sells tickets. That allows you to make more money. It allows you to sell jerseys. That you recoup that. So that's where I stand. And that's why my answer is yes. I don't know who it's going to be, but I just think deep down in the Titans' heart, they want to compete this year.
Yeah.
And they can't
I just
with the wide receiver room they have.
I agree, but again, so my answer is no. I do not think the Titans will sign and add a proven receiver before the season begins. I just don't think there's opportunity and the timing and the financial situation that the Titans will be able to make it all work. And plus, like, if it's a waiver wire thing, then that's different because the Titans are actually higher up on the waiver wire this year because they were the 11th overall pick. If it's a free agency thing, and if Keenan Allen gets cut and is an unrestricted free agent, is Keenan Allen going to come to Tennessee? That's up to him too. It's not just the Titans going with an offer. It's up to the receiver to choose the Titans situation, which there's passes to be caught available, but we all know what this offense is. And I don't think it's exactly attractive for one of these receivers who gets canceled on last minute.
I think if a wide receiver gets cut, he's trying to find a team that will pay him.
And will the Titans be able to pay the best dollar, right? Like, and plus that receiver is probably going to sign a 1-year contract, which means they want to go ball out so they get a big contract in the free agency. Are the Titans going to allow somebody to? But are the Titans going to give that person the volume of opportunity to ball out to go make money? I don't know. I think receivers that are in this situation would look at the Titans on the open market and say, that's not best for me long term.
Not long term, but short term, you can come in there and what are you doing? There are some positives to this. You're competing in a division that is so young and ripe. Like it is new. And Stroud is not proven. Richardson's not proven. Honestly, Trevor Lawrence is not proven yet either. He's got to do that this season. And the hard part about the Jags is the Jags are playing. This is another benefit for the Titans losing in Jacksonville in Week 18. They have to play all of the very hard teams that are stable. They've got to play Patrick Mahomes. They have to play Josh Allen. They've got to play those teams this year, and those are going to be tough games to win.
First place schedule,
I think you have an opportunity to actually succeed with the Titans.
I don't know. I'm in this situation where I will believe it when I see it with this. Right. That's kind of where I'm. Yeah. I think it's going to be. I am not dying on the hill that they are absolutely going to add a proven wide receiver. I think if they don't, I am flabbergasted. My one word is flabbergasted if they go into this season with Kyle Phillips, NWI, and Treylon Burks. Yeah, W. Callan says, with his lunchbox money for Sam, having lost a pick because of Dennis Daly hurts my soul. There's no chance they start this season with this receiver room. My 5-year-old is faster than NWI. But hey, NWI apparently had a knee injury that he was dealing with all last season. And I don't know, right? The crazy thing is, like, how much worse would they be off without NWI? Like, what if he went on to the open market and left? They kind of need him right now. And then John Lasser says the Titans limping to a new identity after the 2023 season. That definitely feels like it could be the case.
I'll sum it up here. The Titans, which makes sense, but they want their cake and eat it too. They want to compete this year and rebuild over the next 3 years while they're still competing. And competing is tough because you're not competing with, I don't think, the top tier teams, but competing and making a playoff bid, winning a division. But it's so hard. That's why the saying is you can't have your cake and eat it too. That's what the Titans are trying to do because Mike Vrabel and I believe Rand Carthon want to win so bad, but they also want to build for the future. Usually just doesn't work like that.
Yeah. More lunchbox money that comes in via super chat. And then we'll get to our next conversation after this. Callanan says one stud receiver changes this whole vibe. Derek, Tannehill, upgrade O-line and tight end, studs on defense. Stud won't be easy, but legit one receiver away from competing.
And you're getting the love of the show, Calden. I agree. If I told you, let's play a pipe dream real quick. Let's say they figured out. Let's say they bite the bullet and ask Harold Landry to restructure his deal. Keenan Allen gets cut. Austin, what do you think about this football team with Derrick Henry, an improved offensive line, Chig, Ryan Tannehill, Traylon Burks, and Keenan Allen, plus Kyle Phillips at the slot, where it can take the pressure off of Kyle Phillips of the coverage that he was getting at the beginning of the season when he was getting hurt. How do you feel about that team?
Oh, I mean, it's way, way more improved. The problem is they still don't have any speed. Like, they don't have Keenan Allen is not exactly a burner.
That's not their game. They are run the football, play action.
But
Their
Mike
speed
Vrabel,
is going to come with scheme. Their speed would be scheme.
you better hope.
Well, it's not Todd Downing anymore.
Yeah, I know. We'll talk about Tim Kelly, because there were some interesting comments about Tim Kelly's offense this week too that we'll save for maybe next week. Andre says, I'd rather trade Henry than run him into 8-man boxes, wasting his final year, but extending him would help Levis have a Salvation Army mindset to wide receiver. I still think while Keenan Allen is really impressive, I just don't know if he becomes a better redundancy, a way better and way more improved NWI, way more improved NWI, but you still don't lack anybody that can create space. You're just playing congested.
All right, since we're on the topic, and let's talk about this next week, but there's also the retread of Corey Davis, because, and
save it for next week.
COVID.
I'll say this.
Sick again.
I'll say this, Zach. Do you know what Traylon Burks plus Corey Davis equals?
Crossing routes?
No, 100. 100.
I like my answer better.
I mean, what's wrong with crossing routes? Crossing routes are correct.
Well, when you're running out of bounds, that's
not what you said.
Problem with crossing
you
routes.
said running out of bounds. All right, we'll save that for next week. Okay, Zach. Will Levis has a decision to make. What jersey number is he going to wear? Terry McCormick put this out there yesterday that Will Levis wore 7 at Kentucky. He wore apparently 17 in high school. Ryan Tannehill 17 and Malik Willis is number 7. So which jersey number will Will Levis wear based on the available numbers for quarterbacks? He's got 5, 8, 10, 14, and 19. So asking you guys, what jersey number should Will Levis pick? I will tell you, if I were the Titans, I'm setting a rule for Will Levis in this jersey number if I'm the Tennessee Titans. But first, let me tell you guys about our new friends, Krebs Kubota. They are an elite Kubota dealer located in Columbia, Franklin, and in Murfreesboro. So you can check them out at KrebsKubota.com. They sell, service, and supply parts for the best equipment in the industry, and they have a large selection of inventory in stock at all 3 of those locations right now. Krebs Kubota believes in customer satisfaction and is rooted in outstanding parts and service department. It is their goal to have the best parts and service in the industry, which stands behind the best equipment in the industry. So an elite Kubota dealer means they've got the elite equipment right there. They've been serving Middle Tennessee for now over 18 years. So go see them at the 3 locations, Columbia, Franklin, or in Murfreesboro, or online at KrebsKubota.com.
A to Z Sports, we are powered by BetMGM. Download the app today. Get in on that action. You got 2 NBA games tonight, 2 tomorrow. You got Major League Baseball. If you're a new user, use that bonus code ATOZ Sports.
All right, Zach. So these are the jersey numbers that Will Levis has to pick from, because 7 and 17 are occupado. As of right now, Malik Willis, I don't know, is he going to make the team? Are they going to keep 3 quarterbacks? That's a conversation for a later day. But 5, 8, 10, 14, and 19 are available for Will Levis. I have a very strong opinion that the Tennessee Titans cannot offer one of those numbers. But Zach, go ahead and go to the chat to read everybody else's answer on what number they should give.
Well, Lee brings up 0, which we have yet to see, because they just changed the number. Adds to 0. We've yet to see a quarterback, and do they have the ability to wear the number 0?
I don't know, because 0 does fall under a certain specific position groups, and Sean Murphy Bunting, the new corner, has taken 0. Yeah,
but I mean, you talk about marketing, agent 0 at a really good quarterback. I think that I feel like you're looking more like the XFL. I just don't know if that's maybe something you can look up.
Yeah, I'm looking at it
to
now.
see if they have that. Tank Sinatra says 14. Kendall says 7. Trevor says 7. The problem is 7's not available, guys. Ramon says 5. Jonah says 5. 14 from Marvin. Memory Mix says 10. Hammer says 14. There's a couple of zeros back from Razorback
So
Rock.
real quick on the 0 thing, quarterbacks, again, with the new rule where 0 is now available, quarterbacks can wear number 0. Starting in 2023, 0 through 19 are quarterback numbers now.
I'd like to see that.
The only positions that cannot wear 0 is offensive linemen and defensive linemen. So anybody else, quarterbacks, punters, place kickers, DBs, running backs, tight ends, receivers, linebackers, everybody can wear 0 except for the offensive and defensive linemen.
All right, so I'm gonna give you my answers because I've got 2. Which numbers will he pick? He's got 5, 8, 10, 14, and 19.
Yeah.
So I believe that Levis will pick 14. My theory is he'll just double 7, which equal 14. That's my logic. I have no idea. I've never talked to him, so that's just my guess. But I would pick out of these numbers, if I had to just kind of throw a wrinkle, I would pick 19. I some people don't like that number, but 19, I don't know. It's unique. It's different. You don't see it. It's right below 20. I'd go a little bit different. I'd go 19. And I think the marketing dollars would be, because look, if I'm drafted, and you've seen the clip of Levis talking to Peyton Manning about marketing. I don't know if you've seen that.
Yeah, I
and
did.
Peyton's
Yeah.
like, let's concentrate on the field, bud. But you've got to look at the history of the franchise to see how many jerseys that you possibly could sell if you do hit. 19 is not a popular number within the Titans community. I would pick 19. I think he's going to pick 14. What's your philosophy?
So I think 14 is right. The Tennessee Titans should go to Will Levis and take the jersey numbers on this, but remove 10 as an option. Jersey number 10 should not ever be given out to any Titans draft pick that they have high expectations for. Jersey number 10 is a curse. Jersey number 10 has not worked out for the last several people who have worn it. Vince Young, Jake Locker. You want to go to Trey McBride, who couldn't do anything. You had Dez Fitzpatrick was a failure.
Don't do my guy Trey
and,
like that.
And Adam Humphries. So those are 5 guys who wore jersey number 10 from 2006 up through Dez Fitzpatrick got cut after the season. So that's 15 years plus of information and data of terrible jersey number 10s. Vince had a couple good years and great moments, but that started it all when he threw that jersey number 10 into the stands in Nissan Stadium back after that game. That's when the curse began with jersey 10. So if you're the Tennessee Titans and you give Will Levis an opportunity to wear 10, you are guaranteeing him to bust. That is my opinion. That might be as superstitious as it gets or crazy for me to say, but I've got 16 seasons of the jersey number 10 falling short of expectations. And so don't let him wear it.
Man,
and there's 2 quarterbacks. That's a highly paid free agent wide receiver acquisition and 2 draft picks who failed, especially Dez Fitzpatrick, who failed to do anything.
So this is a late July topic and it's May 5th. But I think the real question is who will be on the roster out of the 3 quarterbacks, right? Will they have 3? Will they have 2? Like that also, because I think if Will Levis has the opportunity to pick 7, he's going to pick 7, right? So we're not going to talk about that, but everybody should be excited about this training camp because you're going to have some competition and opportunity. The preseason games are actually going to be very meaningful, right? Because Tannehill's got the job. If Tannehill's the starting quarterback, so here are the scenarios. Tannehill's the starting quarterback. He's probably not going to play in the preseason game. That's usually what Mike Vrabel does. You can't afford that. So now it's just a pure competition between two guys, and Malik Willis, a guy who can't throw the football but can run, Will Levis, who's got a rocket arm, but we don't know where it's going. And they're just going to duke it out. And then if Tannehill is cut, oh, man, now you got a whole other story. So this training camp is get your popcorn ready, boys and girls.
Yep. So we both agree 14 for Will Levis is the right thing. Now, the thing is, if they do cut Malik and move on, will he change from 14 to 7 or for whatever to 7? And what does that mean? Like, can the Titans start selling Levis jerseys initially with the first number and then swap it up? Because I don't think we've seen a quarterback change jerseys after, their opening preseason training camp, right? Like Derrick Henry wore 2 and then he switched to 22. AJ wore initially, was it 18? And then he went to 11, but that happened really fast. Like I think he wore 18 like one practice.
Oh yeah, they cut the guy.
But that wasn't a quarterback though, too. So
Jody's got a bump. Take Caleb Farley's number away from him.
Yeah, 3 is bad. Yeah, Kevin Byard went from 20 to 31. So there's some guys that did it, but quarterback's different when it comes to marketability and jersey sales. All right, Zach, it's time to wrap up this week with Ain't That Good News to end our Friday. So share your good news for this week, and we'll have a strong finish to the shows of NFL Draft Reaction. But first, tell us all about our great friends at Farm Bureau Health Plans.
Yeah, FBHP.com/A to Z is where you need to go. And you got to get a quote to make a decision. And the quote is absolutely free. And I went through the process and I realized very quickly that I was going to save 20% and get better coverage. If you currently reside in the state of Tennessee, and I'm being serious, you need to get a quote just to see how this health plan at Farm Bureau Health Plans of Tennessee stacks up against your current health plan. I did that. I put them side by side, and it was a clear-cut winner. So I switched. And look, that's the best part about America. You have the right to switch. If you think that your coverage can be better with a different plan, make the switch today. Health, dental, vision, they've got plans for you individually, for you and your family, your wife and kids. Does not matter. Visit FBHP.com/A to Z. Take the health assessment and get a quote.
Here's good news for Friday with BetMGM is that you can take advantage of no run first inning Friday throughout the entire Major League Baseball season. All you got to do is make a no run first inning prop on any game today, and you get up to $25 back in bonus bets if only one run is scored in the first inning. So have some fun with that no run first inning Friday all summer long with BetMGM. So opt into your app with no run first inning Friday. Take advantage of that. Visit BetMGM.com for terms and conditions. 21 or older, Tennessee only, new and existing customer offer. All promotions subject to qualification and other requirements. Rewards issued to non-withdrawable bonus bets. Bonus bets expire 7 days. And for problem game support, call Tennessee Redline 800-889-9789. News on a Friday. I hope everybody has had a good week following NFL draft weekend. So Zach, I'll send you to the chat. What are some good news that you're seeing from the people on Facebook, YouTube, and Twitch?
Jake's back together with Sarah, and he's got 3 more days left to go on his vacation. Starting his new position on work on Monday. So Jake's trending up right there.
And Jake, I also appreciate Jake watching our show on vacation.
Yes, absolutely. Demetrius, Payday, Cinco de Mayo, Guardians of the Galaxy Volume 3. We went to a Mexican restaurant last night to beat the rush of Cinco de Mayo because some other afternoon plans. Unfortunately, had a bad experience at the restaurant, and this is good news, so I'm not going to jump into that. But let's see. Danny says inspection at work went good for the first time in 3 weeks. Gets to sleep in the morning. Ain't that good news? That is good news. Jeff, Big Ten Jeffs, is now back, I guess, from being on vacation because he's no longer using his burner account. I don't know. Says now that it's Friday, this super chat from Tuesday hasn't been read. Bamboozles, but at least, he's still in Venice, Italy.
Yeah,
so Jeff, if you want to copy and paste your super chat from earlier in the week, we try to do our best. It's hard. There is human involvement in this. Devin says, good news. Just found out they got free VIP tickets to Whiskey Myers concert this Saturday at Ascend Amphitheater. Aaron
Mhm.
says good news is that he's excited about Kentucky Derby tomorrow, watching the documentary about country music from TBS or PBS. PBS does have some good documentaries. The Civil War documentary on PBS is very, very good. So it's long, but I highly recommend that. Let's see. EOC tests at school are done for the year, so that's good for Ethan. Good news from Tress. 9-year-old, buckle up. Ain't playing when they say how fast it goes by. Oh, that it does. Blink of the eye. A 9-year-old right there. So good news all around. Dre the Barber says good news. Add another seat to his Titan season tickets. 4. If anybody wants to go, right there.
Hey, Dre,
Community
Dre the
love.
Barber, one of the select few adding to their Titan season ticket plans.
Right, instead of taking.
Hey, buy low, right? Buy low, Dre.
Right. Charles says good news. Over 80,000 people expected in Nashville this weekend, not leaving the house. Taylor Swift involvement and some other things. So what is your good news?
Well, I was going to kind of do it. Charles says 80,000. Charles, I think that's a little bit low. I think it's going to be a lot higher than just 80,000. I think Taylor Swift's going to have 6 figures to account for herself. But yeah, my good news is I'm excited to enjoy this weekend away from all of that stuff. I do not want to leave my area. I'm staying away from the downtown madness. I had to fight through some traffic yesterday of it already beginning, but Nashville is great, right? Nashville is so entertaining, but an opportunity to stay in my oasis and not deal with that and have a great relaxing weekend after the NFL draft. I'm looking forward to that because the NFL draft was long. It was really fun, but it was very busy, and I'm excited to catch up on some family time after working all last weekend with the draft. So that is my good news.
That is good news. My good news, because I'm about to take a break from the show because my good news is last Friday that I'll be on the show for the next couple of weeks because I'm getting married a week from tomorrow, which has come very fast. So excited about that. I'm on the home stretch now. So like the stress level has started to deteriorate. It was high stress for those, months leading up to it, getting everything organized. But my family's coming in town. All my friends, everybody that I care about will be there. And it's going to be a great, great experience next Saturday. And then I go on a honeymoon to Costa Rica for a week. So I finally get, a 7-day vacation that I don't think I've ever had a 7-day vacation. Whitewater rafting, zip lining, deep sea fishing, rainforest, beach. So a great payoff. And the best part of it is I get to marry the person that I love. And so that is my good news. And I'll ride into the sunset after Saturday at a great night and a great weekend.
Absolutely. And definitely congratulations. And it's going to be a great time for you guys as well with the trip. And enjoy it because it's time to get back to work after that. So, all right, guys, we will see you guys on Monday after a nice, relaxing weekend. Hope you guys enjoy it and have a lot to talk about next week as well. Make sure before you head out here, you give the show a like and subscribe to our channel because that makes us and all have a better conversation. So check us out. Give us that thumbs up. Subscribe to the channel on Facebook and YouTube. Have a fantastic weekend, and we'll see you on Monday morning. Appreciate it as always.